Good morning, friends. Welcome to the 12th day of Christmas, January 5th. Tomorrow is Epiphany in the Christian church, but that means also that it's the end of the 12 days of Christmas celebration that have historically happened. So this is the day when we play Breaking Up Christmas. I don't know if you've heard about this tradition before, but there's an old time fiddle tune called Breaking Up Christmas, which is part of the whole, like there's a Christmas watch service that would, in the old days, it would start tonight because in old Christmas was January 6th. So the Christmas Eve was January 5th. And then the 12-day celebration would continue into January. But when the calendar got moved to the 25th, well, that puts this being the last day. And just like when you're waiting for it to come, you're saying goodbye to it at the end. And then at the end of the fiddle session, when everybody would get together, they would play the tune. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to show you what I did here, but I'm also going to do it on the hammered dulcimer. And I want to share my screen. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to share my screen. There it is. That's the right button for sharing the screen. In Dulcimer Crossing, we have a lesson for, I teach Breaking Up Christmas on the hammered dulcimer. And this is, so here's an example. There's some background material, and there's the introduction, and you can see that there's some lyrics here. And as we get to the next one, we map out where everything is going, and Linda has put together these these animations to show us where we're playing with our hammers. There we go. So you're going to see left, right, left, right, left. So that's a description of where it can be played. We also have the downloadable music here as well. So then that's mapping the A part, and then we map the B part, or we break it up in pieces so we can work on it. And then we add bass notes, and then we go to the B section and we map that, and then we put it all together. So that's the way the tune is present on Dulcimer Crossing. We can also see, is it here for Mountain Dulcimer? And let's see what our search function tells us. We have breaking up, breaking it down. Well, there's 40 different versions, so I might put Breaking Up Christmas in here to be a little more specific. So it looks like I haven't taught it yet on Mountain Dulcimer, so it's going to be time for me to do that. But that to get us back to our morning on the Mountain Dulcimer, I'm going to give you a quick overhead view of what I'm doing here. And I think I might want to zoom in just a little bit more. This is a baritone dulcimer, tuned A-E-A. Why am I doing that? One of my students asked me, because this is an A tune. It lives in the key of A, and in everybody outside of the dulcimer world, they're going to play it in A. It can be, you'll notice I'm not using a capo, no extra frets. So the A part's very linear. The B part is across the strings and uses a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs, at least in the way I'm playing it. And it's the B part is a lot shorter, and there's a lot more repetitions in it before it comes back around to the beginning. So, but this is one of those tunes as part of the Christmas watch, or the Breaking Up Christmas end of the 12 days. You get to the end of your party and you play a song, and you know when it's the last song, everybody doesn't want it to end. They want to just keep playing it, keep playing it, keep playing it. So it's one of those tunes that can go on for a very long time. And let's move to the hammered dulcimer. The thing about this one that I really enjoy is that it has that anticipation that comes before one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a really fun tune. But the thing I particularly like it is that anticipation of how the first note that we have happens before the measure. It is our first beat is on the pickup, what would be the pickup beat. And I just think that's delightful. It's got all the anticipation. It has all the anticipation that makes it such fun. So the tune "Breaking Up Christmas," interesting. You didn't know about it, so you started studying table edit. Was it one of the samples that was in the book? If you're not in, some of these traditions, that if we're not part of that tradition, then there's some things we might not know about. So it's a tradition. I mean, this is the time for people who keep their tree and their decorations up. The 12 days, the day is the last day, and tomorrow's the day to take everything down. And it has a certain kind of sadness and melancholy and relief. The holidays are finally over. We can kind of get back to normal, whatever that is, right? But we have tunes like this that are seasonal. Really, it was the first example. How interesting is that? We have these tunes that are seasonal on Dulcimer Crossing. We have ones that are topical. We have ones that are focused based on keys. And one of the reasons I love this tune is that it's not a D tune, it's an A tune. And the ones that aren't in the mainstream, that's where I fish. That's where I like to look, in the eddies and in all the places where the current isn't flowing fast. That's, sometimes I'm sad about that, because you can feel like you've been passed by. But I know, if it's popular, I'm not doing it. I am not that guy. So the tune is just a lot of fun, and I hope you have fun with it. I've not heard it called Little Christmas, Talon. Where does that tradition come from? Aha. And Jamie, you're going through that too, yeah. But the other thing that the turn of the seasons does is give us a chance to reboot and start in my experience as a music teacher, there are 3 times in the year that are the predominant times that people do something new. They start and stop things 3 different times. One of them is the beginning of the school year for children. It's like Labor Day ish. It's fall. It's the rhythms are different, and people will start then. They might stop when it gets to the holidays. They might go on through. Another whole group of people at the beginning of the year will say, this is the time for me to do this thing I've always wanted to do. And they give themselves permission to let go of things in the past and pick up something new. And the other time is the beginning of summer. So it's kind of like Labor Day, New Year's, Memorial Day in the United States. If you have Labor Day in May, that's closer to our Memorial Day. But it's kind of the poles of the holidays. So there's kind of 3 times a year that I notice. Now, throughout the year, people make those decisions, but that's when the biggest shifts come. And I know that when I was first learning to be a gigging musician, and I was playing locally in restaurants and coffee shops and bookstores and things like that, I would work and work and work to develop all these these venues that I could play at regularly on a kind of a rhythm. And it seemed like it was among the restaurants where I'd work all year and I'd play 2 or 3 gigs, and I'm all excited. I'd schedule something for after the first of the year, and I'd show up for the gig, and this restaurant closed, was under new management, had canceled and not told me. That was the time when that happened. It was all it was at the beginning of the year. So it's like, I wonder what, I knew what last year was. I wonder what next year's going to be. So this is the day that it's auspicious for starting things. I want to share with you. Here we go. Oh, nope, I want to do that. My 6-week winter classes are starting on January 12th for the evening prayer service. If you were part of that in the past, contact me if you want a refresher and want to take part in it, because there's a special deal that you can get with that. And what's happening, I'm focusing on Celtic music this time. So we have a Celtic exploration across the different tune types and rhythms and techniques and all that stuff for mountain dulcimers on Monday in the morning, my time, or Monday in the late afternoon, my time, hammer dulcimer, and then on Wednesdays in the morning is Celtic guitar. Those are kind of in the same bailiwick. Practical music theory is where and this is a request from several students, where we look at music theory specifically as it relates to dulcimers and helps us address the things we want to learn. And I've been receiving, and if you still have questions or things you want to make sure get covered in that, please email me or leave a message here and I can do that. And then my Hammered Joy this season, last fall it was Mountain Dulcimer Joy. Hammered Dulcimer Joy is using Beethoven's Ode to Joy theme as a way to develop. I've developed 30 exercises that use that theme as a way to do exercises that help us with our accuracy and our facility and ease of playing. It moves us toward hand separation and hand independence and gives us some arranging ideas which can transfer to other songs. And then finally, the Dulcimer friendly evening prayer service for Lent. And we just did this for Advent. So this part of the learning the evening prayer service is the first part, the 3 weeks in January, starting on the 12th. These are on Wednesday evenings. And but this uses the next volume, which isn't published yet. I'm still working on this one, but it's the tunes from Lent. It's the ones I was able to work on and arrange and do demo recordings of in my artist in residency in Alaska in the end of 2019. And then once the season of Lent starts in March, we'll have a weekly play along service with dulcimers on Zoom. So that's coming up. The other thing that's coming up is tonight. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. Tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is when the Quarantune Festival, which is taking place February 3rd through 6th, registration opens. And I'm teaching 7 workshops there on mountain and hammered dulcimer. But there are lots of new teachers. You can click on that and see the schedules. You can print out your planning sheet and figure out what are the workshops you want, and registration goes live at that time. And I know that this is one of those anxious times for people who in the past haven't gotten a workshop that they really wanted to take. But this is a chance to do it again. I'm repeating several workshops and have some new ones as well. Repeating the Time in a Bottle and Operator Jim Croce tunes for fingerstyle playing. So if you weren't able to get into those in the past, here's another opportunity to do that. And I'm seeing Talon, you grew up in New Orleans. Oh, okay. King's Day, sure enough. Interesting. I've not heard about Little Christmas or Women's Christmas. With an Irish tradition, and Amish too. Well, the Amish makes sense because Old Christmas, like Talon is saying, was what it was in the colonies when in the early America, pre-revolution and revolutionary America, Christmas was the 6th of January. It was later that it became the 25th. And I like Mark, your Christmas lights become your Easter lights. We have some lights on our patio that we just call our party lights. So we just leave them streaming or shining, and we turn them on for all the seasons outside anyway. Now I do have a correction. The Dulcimer or Dulcimoon Festival, which is coming up, is not coming up until 2023. I showed you the graphic for it last week, and I was thinking that it was going to be taking place this year. Somehow I'd missed that it's a 2023 event. So sorry about that. I don't want to get your hopes up and then dash them. But let me ask now, what are the kind of things that you're doing as a part of this rhythm of breaking up Christmas and kicking off the new year? Last week, I talked about playing through my library, and I have had such a blast doing that, and I'm going to continue that. So I started that in the holiday, and I played through Neil Hellman's book. Vicky Stuckert is also, I'm from Pemberville, Ohio, and she's also a Pembervillian who lives in Findlay now, Ohio. And her cowboy book was a lot of fun to go through. And also Judy Klinkhammer's books. Judy was wonderful, wonderful person who, as she said, everything I learned about teaching came from my new beginners class. She loved teaching new beginners. And she was connected with the Ozark Folk Center and with McSpadden Dulcimers in Mountain View, Arkansas, and was often found there at the store for McSpadden, sitting in their little Dulcimer alcove and playing with people. And wonderful, wonderful friends. Wonderful friend. Loved playing with her and singing with her. I'm also working through Aaron O'Rourke's Faster, Cleaner, Better book, which is a lot about using arpeggios and things to clean up playing, and it makes me use different fingers. So this is one of those things that you might let go. Yeah, you might also find helpful. It could be the time to take up a new discipline of, when I play chord style, I always use my thumb. When I play a lot of intricate passages, I tend to use my 1, 2, 3 fingers, and sometimes my thumb and sometimes my pinky. One of the things Aaron does So I'm having to not use my second finger a lot of times and use my pinky and ring instead. Now, he also plays up like this. And if I was playing up like this, that would feel more natural. But I'm doing it just so I can make sure I have another finger I can trust. But I do notice that when I get up here, it makes a little more sense for me to stretch out these 3 fingers instead of the pinky. So in that first octave where the frets are a lot longer, when I use the pinky, I can actually reach some things that I can't otherwise. And so I find that to be very helpful. So I'm excited about what that's already doing. And as a teacher, the other thing that going through my library does is highlight some resources that I can suggest to different students. So just all good. Yeah. Right. Figuring out how to work it all in is the thing. Got it. And looking for tunes to study toward a recital instead of a gig idea. Does it compare with hands-on Dulcimer? I'm not familiar with the title. So let's see what that is. Mel Bay book, Mike Casey. Okay. Because I haven't looked at that book, I don't know how it compares. But it's the same idea of developing, using skill, working on skills. Yes. Oh, you're right. I love these New Orleans tradition style, and yeah, it's King's Cake, um, and the Tres Reyes, and can kick off the beginning of Carnival. Yeah. But one of the things is working on that can be a part of this new rhythm and launching things is learning new tunes, like I demonstrated with breaking up Christmas. But it can also be learning new techniques or honing techniques, or going back and digging out and finding repertoire that you've completely forgotten about, which is what happened with one of my students yesterday. we'd finished up and played through all the Christmas things that they had been working on, and then said, "What would you like to do next?" And started thinking of things like Julianne Johnson and two songs that are in two keys, old time tunes like Flop-Eared Mule and Forked Deer, and Julianne Johnson are all tunes like that, and then more chromatic tunes and things. Oh, good. Sandra, you can give us the comparison. Well, we are coming to the end of our time today. All of these live streams are archived here on Facebook without any curation. They are archived also on Dulcimer Crossing in the live events section. And that reminds me, I have one more thing I need to tell you about that's coming up this month. Don't want to tell anybody too soon because you know how we are. If we find out too soon, we forget about it. Oops. There we go. On the dulcimercrossing.simplero.com, our homepage, you can see we have some workshops coming up. These are monthly things that happen, and workshop and mentor level students get access to them automatically. But it's also possible to purchase a one-time ticket to that workshop, after which you also get the recording of it. And on the live events page is where you can see. Let's see, is this? Let's go back and let's do that again because I'm not certain that it's working the way I want it to. Here we go. Yep, that's the one I want. Make sure that you can see this. Mark Allen Wade is coming up on January 20th. It'll be 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All the other times across the page. There it is. Right. Good. And he's going to be actually helping us work through. It's a Hammer Dulcimer focused workshop, but Aaron May and I are there. We make Mountain Dulcimer translations as we're talking about it. But this is focusing on arranging, taking a blind Irish harper, Turlough O'Carolan's piece, and arranging it on Hammer Dulcimer. So it's actually us doing the arranging so that we can apply those things on other songs later. In February, Don Petty's coming to do Songs of the Heart, traditional songs or ballads, old love songs from Appalachia. He says most of them have happy endings. And then we're delighted that Carmen Amrein from Munich is going to be doing the one in March. It's German polka time. And that's it. Because she's in Munich and has small children, we'll be doing it first at 12:30 Mountain Standard Time, and then we'll do a replay that Aaron May and I will curate at 5 p.m. And we can answer some questions or things like that if people have them. So that's what's coming up, and you can find those on the front page of Dulcimer Crossing. When you are logged in as a mentor or workshop level, you find those upcoming events here. Okay, I don't think that worked. So let's try that again. I think what doesn't happen is when I click through, it doesn't show up again. But you can see the ones that are coming up. And when you click on past events is where you'll find there you go. You'll find the archive of the workshops that have happened. You'll also find the archive. Today's is going to show up here because I've started building the 2022 workshop stream. Here is the archive of everything from 2021, the archive of everything from 2020. We've also been, this is our Leap Forward in Your Musical Understanding and past live events, and we've been adding some in here that were our live events we had that were saved on Concert Window. So there's more in there than there was before. And we're always working on the site, so we want it to be a useful tool for you as you continue to develop your skills and play with your dulcimers. Yeah, that I don't know why that got stuck there for so long, Doug. I was seeing them show up in my review of the feed when it finally happens. But if you go to and happy little Christmas tomorrow. Thank you, Talon. You too. We'll see you again next week, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Cheers, everyone. And merry little Christmas.